Have you ever felt that no matter how good you are, your presence makes some people uncomfortable? Have you noticed crossed looks, rejection for no reason, and even unexpected betrayals? What if I told you that this happens because your energy is too strong for those who still live in darkness? Today, you will understand what really happens when they make a chosen one cry, and why the pain they tried to cause you, it always comes back to them in unexpected ways. Before we continue, I want you to do 3 very important things right now. Leave your like, subscribe to the channel, and activate the bell. This ensures you receive video that will open your eyes to realities few understand. And more. I want you to comment right now, "Nothing can stop me." This comment is not just a sentence. It's a powerful statement to the universe that you are ready to rise stronger than ever. The chosen ones have always felt that their journey is not ordinary. They are people who carry a different energy, a light that often bothers those who live in darkness. But what few know is that when a chosen one cries, something profound happens in the universe. These tears are not simple demonstrations of sadness. They activate invisible forces that trigger changes both in the chosen one and in those who made him suffer. The cry of the chosen one is not a sign of weakness, but a catalyst for transformation, an energetic purification that alters your vibration and prepares you for something greater. The pain felt by a chosen one is never in vain. Each tear carries spiritual weight, for your suffering is not just emotional, but energetic. When a chosen one goes through injustice, betrayal, or moments of intense loneliness, he releases energies that do not belong to him, returning to the universe everything that they tried to impose on his essence. What many people don't understand is that hurting a chosen one has direct consequences, as the vibration it carries is aligned with higher spiritual laws. Those who try to harm you are often, without knowing it, setting themselves against these forces. But the real mystery is what comes after the pain. Often, after a period of intense suffering, the chosen one's life takes a turn for the worse. What seemed like a moment of weakness becomes a turning point. Doors open, paths reveal themselves, and the people who tried to take him down begin to face inexplicable difficulties. This is no coincidence. It is universal balance in action. If this video is making sense to you so far, know that the universe is already working in your favor. Many blessings are moving your way. That motorcycle you so desire, new opportunities and twists that will surprise you. But for all this to manifest itself, you need to show your gratitude and make space to receive. And there is a powerful way to do this right now. Click the button, "Thanks too much," and send an amount of up to $100 as an act of recognition for the transformation that is already happening in your life. What you give with intention returns multiplied. From childhood, many chosen ones feel that they do not fit in. It's as if there is something about them that makes them different, a vibration that separates them from the majority. This manifests itself in inexplicable rejections, difficulties creating deep bonds, and a persistent feeling of loneliness. But this loneliness is not a punishment. It is a necessary process for awakening. Those born to shine cannot follow the common path, and therefore often need to learn to walk alone before finding those who truly share their essence. The problem is that this rejection hurts. The chosen one wonders why he seems to attract people who despise him, why those he has helped so often abandon him or even betray him. He wonders if there is something wrong with him, without realizing that in fact its energy is so strong that it scares those who still live in darkness. People often cannot stand the light of a chosen one because it exposes their own shadows. This explains why so many chosen ones face betrayal, envy, and even persecution, not because they did something wrong, but because their presence bothers those who have not yet awakened. The hardest thing is to understand that this pain is part of the path. The chosen one did not come into the world to be understood by everyone, but to fulfill his mission. And to do so, he will often need to endure moments of isolation. However, those who manage to go through this process become unshakable. They learn to be self-sufficient, to trust their intuition, and to follow their path without depending on anyone's acceptance. Have you ever noticed how, even without doing anything wrong, your presence seems to bother certain people? How do some people look at you crossly, feel angry for no reason, or even try to belittle you? This happens because the energy of a chosen one does not go unnoticed. Its simple existence already affects the environment, awakening intense reactions in the people around it. Those who live in lies feel threatened by those who carry the truth. People who have built their lives based on illusions cannot stand being around someone whose essence exudes authenticity. This is why the chosen one often faces resistance in social groups, at work, or even in their own family. Some people feel its light and are inspired by it, while others feel envy, hatred, and discomfort. But this has nothing to do with the chosen one. It has to do with the inner darkness of those who are not prepared to deal with the truth. However, this discomfort you cause in others is actually a sign of your power. If your presence shakes the environment, it is because your energy is strong. The world does not react to what is weak. It reacts to what has an impact. If you feel uncomfortable just by existing, it means you carry something special. The secret is not in trying to please or hide, but in accepting your essence and moving forward without fear of being who you really are. Contrary to what many think, crying is not a sign of weakness. It is a purification mechanism. When a chosen one cries, he is not only expressing his pain, but also releasing energies that do not belong to him. These tears are charged with emotion, but more than that, they are an energetic process of healing and transformation. Every tear a chosen one sheds is cleansing their soul, removing blockages, and preparing them for a new stage of their journey. On a spiritual level, crying acts as an escape valve, allowing accumulated negative energy to be expelled. This explains why, after crying intensely, many chosen ones feel an inexplicable peace, as if something heavy had been lifted from them. This is the effect of energy release. The most curious thing is that often the people who cause this pain believe that they got away with it. They think they won, that they weakened the chosen one. But they don't realize that by making a chosen one cry, they have triggered a process that will come back to them in unexpected ways. No tear from a chosen one falls unanswered. The universe always finds a way to balance the scales. What few know is that the tears of a chosen one do not disappear into the void. They carry a vibration that echoes throughout the universe and activate powerful spiritual forces. In many ancient traditions, it is believed that the suffering of a high soul is registered and rebalanced by the cosmos itself. This means that every pain felt, every injustice suffered, returns to those who caused it, not as revenge, but as a natural consequence of the law of return. The most impressive thing is that, after a period of intense suffering, those chosen usually experience moments of accelerated growth. New opportunities arise, intuition strengthens, and unexpected paths open up. This is not a coincidence. It is the universe's response to the purification process that occurred through tears. Therefore, if you have ever cried because of the pain you faced, know that those tears were not in vain. They are preparing the ground for your rise. You are not being punished, you are being strengthened, and those who caused your pain, sooner or later, will understand that messing with a chosen one always has a price. In the universe, nothing happens without a reason, and no action goes unnoticed. There is an invisible law that governs all things. What you put out into the world sooner or later comes back to you. This law of balance is even stronger when it comes to the chosen ones, as they carry a different vibration connected to higher forces. When someone tries to harm them, they are in fact going against this natural flow of the universe, and the return of this act can be more severe than they imagine. Often those who hurt a chosen one believe they have gotten away with it. They laugh, they feel superior, they think they won. However, The universe does not need to rush to act. Without them realizing it, the negative energy they released begins to accumulate around them, attracting difficulties, failures, and situations that seem to appear out of nowhere. The people who supported them disappear, opportunities close, and life seems to spiral into chaos. They may not even connect these events to the evil they did, but the truth is that no one can act against a chosen one and emerge unscathed. This does not mean that the chosen one needs to desire revenge or do anything to harm those who hurt him. The universe itself takes care of this. What was done against him will be charged in the most fair and accurate way possible. Meanwhile, the chosen one continues on his journey, becoming stronger, growing, and often watching from afar. Those who tried to overthrow him face their own consequences. One of the biggest mistakes a chosen one can make is to waste their energy trying to retaliate for the harm done to them. The justice of the universe is infallible, and there is no need for human interference. When someone causes pain to a chosen one, this action already sets in motion a cosmic mechanism that will rebalance things naturally. There is no need to get your hands dirty. Existence itself is responsible for giving back to each person exactly what they have sown. What many don't realize is that seeking revenge can trap the chosen one in the same energetic cycle of suffering. Resentment, anger, and the desire for revenge create invisible bonds between him and those who hurt him, preventing his own evolution. But when the chosen one decides to let go, move on, and trust that the universe will settle the score, he frees himself completely. True victory is not in fighting back, but in thriving despite everything. And that is one of the biggest shocks for those who tried to harm you. While they live tormented by the weight of their own actions, the chosen one grows, evolves, and becomes increasingly untouchable. Nothing destroys an enemy more than seeing him flourish, while your own life falls apart due to the consequences of what he did. The chosen one does not need to take revenge. His greatest response is his ascension. The pain of a chosen one is never just suffering, it is a polishing process. Every tear shed, every moment of loneliness, every betrayal faced works like a fire that burns everything that is no longer useful, leaving only what is true and unshakable. The chosen one is not destroyed by pain, he is reborn from it. This process can be brutal. In the midst of difficulties, many wonder why they have to go through so many trials. They feel wronged, tired, and sometimes they even question their own strength. But what they don't realize is that the universe would never place challenges in their path that they were not capable of overcoming. Each obstacle is not a punishment, but rather a preparation. The chosen one is refined, like gold in fire, and that is what makes him so powerful. Over time, he realizes that the pains of the past have made him stronger than he ever imagined. He develops a resilience that few possess. What used to shake him no longer has power over him. The evil words, the betrayals, the losses, all of this becomes fuel for your evolution. The chosen one not only survives the pain, he transforms it into strength. After enduring so much suffering, there comes a time when the chosen one begins to notice something different. The things that used to hurt you no longer have the same impact. He feels an internal change, as if he is seeing the world with new eyes. What once seemed like a burden now reveals itself as training, preparation for something much greater. This awakening doesn't happen all at once. It comes little by little, like small insights, like a growing clarity that everything always had a purpose. The chosen one begins to realize that rejection taught him to value himself, that betrayal taught him to choose his companions better, that pain made him stronger than he imagined. He understands that he was never a victim, but rather a warrior in the process of being polished, and that's when your energy completely changes. People who previously felt entitled to hurt you start to move away because they can no longer hurt you. What once seemed like an endless cycle of suffering now gives way to a new path, where the chosen one finally begins to reap the fruits of everything they have learned. This is the beginning of the turnaround. While the Chosen One goes through his most difficult periods, those who hurt him believe he is defeated. They don't realize that silently he is growing, becoming stronger, transforming into something they can never achieve. The Chosen One does not need to show his evolution. It happens behind the scenes, away from the eyes of those who want to see him fall. This invisible growth is what makes it so powerful. In the eyes of the world, he may just seem like someone who has suffered, someone who has been rejected or wronged. But internally, he is acquiring a strength that few will have in their entire lives. Every pain overcome, every lesson learned, every obstacle overcome takes you to a higher level of consciousness and power. And when he finally resurfaces, those who underestimated him cannot understand how someone they tried to destroy became so strong. They thought they were weakening him, but they were actually helping to shape his greatness. The Chosen One not only survives the storms, he emerges from them reborn, stronger than ever. The universe has a peculiar way of settling accounts. Often, those who have tried to bring down a Chosen One end up being forced to watch helplessly as he rises stronger than ever. At first, they laugh, they belittle, they believe they have won. But time reveals its truth. They begin to realize that, instead of having destroyed the Chosen One, they have only accelerated its evolution. Every betrayal, every injustice, every pain imposed became a step towards his ascension. While the Chosen One grows, prospers, and becomes more aware of who they really are, their former enemies find themselves trapped in their own traps. Many begin to face unexpected difficulties, reaping exactly what they sowed. Others feel an inexplicable emptiness, as if they had lost something valuable, without even understanding why. What they don't realize is that, by trying to turn off the light of the Chosen One, they ended up taking away from themselves any chance of true evolution. The universe does not punish, but it balances, and then from afar they watch. They try to understand how someone who seemed broken managed to get back on their feet. How the one who suffered so much now walks with confidence, without fear, without resentment, without looking back. This is the real twist of the Chosen Ones. They not only survive the pain, they become unstoppable. There comes a moment in every Chosen One's journey when they realize something crucial. Nothing can destroy him except himself. All the pain he faced, all the trials, all the people who tried to bring him down, all of it only served to make him stronger. He realizes that he no longer needs anyone's acceptance. He doesn't need to prove anything to anyone, because he finally understands his own strength. What once affected you now becomes irrelevant. Negative words lose their impact. Criticism no longer finds space within it. He does not seek revenge, because he understands that true victory is not in fighting back, but in evolving to a point where nothing external can affect you. This is the highest level of awakening of a Chosen One, when he becomes unshakable, and that's when everything changes. His energy transforms, and this bothers those who still live in darkness. People who previously underestimated you now feel an inexplicable discomfort around you. They know something has changed, but they can't understand exactly what. The truth is simple. When a Chosen One discovers his true strength, he becomes untouchable. Many people spend their lives wondering why they have to face so much pain and challenges. But the Chosen One, when he awakens, understands that each suffering had a purpose. Pain has never been a punishment. It has always been a process of transformation. Just as fire purifies gold and pressure transforms coal into diamond, the difficulties that the Chosen One faced served to polish him, to remove everything that was not essential and reveal his true essence. Those who tried to hurt him were never the villains in his story. They were just tools of the universe to strengthen you. Each betrayal taught him to trust himself more. Each rejection showed him that he doesn't need anyone's validation. Each loss was actually a release in disguise. When the Chosen One understands this, he stops regretting the past and begins to be grateful for everything he has experienced, as he realizes that, without these trials, he would never have become who he is today. And so, he embraces his mission with confidence. He understands that he didn't come into this world to fit in, but to stand out. He realizes that his entire journey, however painful it may have been, it was a call for his evolution. And now that he has awakened to his true essence, nothing can stop him. There is a point in the Chosen One's journey when he simply stops caring about what doesn't make sense to your soul. The pain, the disappointments, the betrayals, everything that used to make you suffer now seems distant, small, insignificant. He realizes that he spent too much time trying to understand why certain people treated him with ingratitude, why he was rejected by those he only tried to help, why the world seemed so cruel to someone who only wanted to spread good. But when the penny drops, he understands that none of that matters anymore. The Chosen One stops carrying the weight of other people's opinions. It no longer needs to be accepted, understood, or validated. He simply follows your journey, without looking back, without carrying sorrows, without clinging to expectations. This does not mean that he becomes cold or insensitive. On the contrary, he becomes free. Free to live your truth, to surround yourself only with those who vibrate at the same frequency, to build a reality where your light no longer needs to be dimmed for others to feel comfortable. And it is at that exact moment that everything begins to change. The Chosen One, who previously seemed to carry an invisible burden, now walks lightly, confidently, untouchable. He no longer fears loneliness because he knows that true company is within himself. He no longer seeks approval as he understands that his mission does not need anyone's permission. When the Chosen One stops caring about what is not part of his journey, he finally begins to truly live. At the end of his journey, the Chosen One understands that he was never lost. He was just being shaped for something much greater. Everything he went through, all the pain he faced, all the trials he overcame were part of a divine process to make him who he needed to be. He no longer sees his story as a sequence of suffering, but rather as intense training for a mission that few are capable of enduring. At this point, he no longer needs to prove anything to anyone. He no longer seeks acceptance because he now understands his true value. He realizes he spent years trying to fit in where he never belonged, trying to keep people around who weren't ready for his energy, trying to explain his essence to those who could never understand him. But now, he assumes who you are without fear. He stops trying to convince the world of his truth and simply lives by it. And then, everything aligns. The universe begins to place in the path of the Chosen One exactly what resonates with their vibration. People, opportunities, experiences, everything starts to flow naturally, effortlessly, without pain. He realizes that he never needed to fight for acceptance, never needed to beg for recognition. All he had to do was embrace your mission and follow your own path. And now that he has awakened to his true essence, nothing and no one can stop him.